Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Author Speaks. My name is Renee Smith, and I'm the CEO and founder of IABX, Independent Authors Book Experience. We're so excited today. We have two amazing authors who are going to talk to you about their books, Dr. Cadmus Hull and Joan Ramirez. So we're very excited to hear from them. But before we meet these wonderful authors, we just want to give you a little bit of information about who we are. IABX is a nonprofit organization that supports independent authors, thereby promoting literacy for all ages. And one of the things that we do, we have various events that we host throughout the year. And our premier event is our Independent Authors Book Expo, which will be held on August 6th, 2022, this year. It's Saturday. It's going to be at the Linden Public Library in Linden. We're partnering with the Mayor, Derek Armstead, and the Linden Public Library to present this year's ninth annual Independent Authors Book Expo. We have an amazing lineup of authors already. We're almost at capacity. So if you are an author and you're interested in participating and exhibiting at this event, I encourage you to get on our website at www.iabx.org and register because the slots are filling up fast. So don't forget, IABX will be letting you know about it again at the end of the show. But if you're on now, definitely um, register if you're an author. And also, we want you to come out and see these authors. So if you're an avid reader or if you're a reader and you love books, August 6th, Saturday, is a place for you to be. Okay? And we are here to meet our authors. So without further ado, one thing before I do that, if you're on, let us know what your city and state is. We usually have people tuning in from all over. So let us know your city and state. We want to hear where you are. We'll bring you on and let you ask the authors a few questions. Type your questions in the chat. Okay, let's begin the show. So today we're bringing in Miss Joan Ramirez. Hi, Joan.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm very proud of this, and this is what we're going to talk about. And I never talk unless I have the book, because one
Okay,
picture is worth 1,000 words.
absolutely. Excellent. So let us know where you're from, Joan. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Guttenberg, New Jersey. Originally, I was
From where?
Guttenberg, New Jersey.
Okay.
Originally, I was born in Brooklyn, and I have just the last couple of years been inspiring a lot of young people to open their own businesses. And
Okay.
there's a training program, and now I'm branching out. If anyone in a trade school would like to speak to me, um, our beautiful hostess will give you the information. But a lot of people, when they took my courses on Zoom, pandemic, what can we
Okay.
do? They was,
Yes.
you're giving us the lesson, you're giving us the feedback, but we need something else. For many years, I was the manager of communications in a very large company. I did the annual report for
Okay.
1,000 people. I did training programs. So that's when I decided I was going to do the right rules. So
Okay. Excellent. So we have Joan, and she's going to tell you more about her book. But before she does, let's bring on Dr. Cadmus Hull. Dr.
Hi,
Hull,
Renee.
welcome.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. My name is Cadmus Hall, and I'm a retired school principal and a superintendent of schools. Now, I've taught graduate courses. Um, I'm a clinical teacher supervisor for Fairleigh Dickinson University, and I presently serve on the Rowan College of South Jersey Foundation Board, whose function is to raise money so that students can go to school 2 years tuition free.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So Yeah, we just want to get in and just hear a little bit about your book. So, Dr. Hall, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes. Now, my book um, is called A White Picket Fence, and it chronicles my early years and demonstrates the humble beginnings do not have to prevent you from following through with your dreams, that you can learn from life's lessons. The book talks about my early childhood years of living without indoor plumbing facilities, carrying water from outdoor pumps for household use, cutting down trees for firewood to use in heating the house and cooking, and using an outhouse,
Oh, wow.
being retained in first grade, and how my eighth grade teacher, and I want to say her name, Mrs. Kunkel, helped turn me around, just turn my life around completely with just one thing she did. I never got anything above a C up through eighth grade. One year she gave a science test and I got a B minus.
Wow.
She praised me the whole day,
Wow.
just walking in the room smiling, saying how proud she was of me. From that day forth, I never got anything less than a B. I
Excellent.
believe that my experiences helped to shape and form my life outcome. This book shares some of the lessons I learned in growing up in the Bayshore area of Fort North. You probably don't know where it is. It's in Cumberland County, South
Oh,
Jersey.
oh,
It's
okay.
it's an oyster town, and as a migrant coming from Wetumpka, Maryland, seeking a better life with my parents at the tender age of 3, I believe that you can be and have anything that you want if you never give up.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, the
Absolutely.
lessons I have shared in this book about my life will help future generations better navigate their own personal situations and circumstances. As an educator, I feel compelled to impart as much as I can to add value to the lives of children.
Wonderful. That's just a beautiful story, and I'm sure there's so many people who will um, resonate. That story will resonate with. Not giving
Yes,
up and just keep pushing forward regardless of what's going on.
exactly.
Yes.
And don't worry about if you were retained, because I was retained and I ended up with a doctorate in school leadership.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So Joan, tell us a little bit about your book.
My book, The Right Rules, deals with, and I am going to quote, it deals with technical writing, presentation, and English as a second language. I have 3 masters. One is in journalism, one is in English as a second language, and the other one is in special education with my specialty of autism. I've published 5 books. One of them is Jamie Princess,
Congratulations.
and Jamie came about as a result of one of my autistic students who said to me, I want the world to know about Jamie. Jamie has gone on to do beautiful things, but my book talks about using the right words properly, common writing errors. It has a whole section on English as a second language, and it has a section on promoting your business. Because for 20 years, I was the manager of communications of the staff of 1,000 people, engineers, architects, and I had a course that I gave on a monthly basis. And I loved that job. I would have died in that job had September 11th knocked down the towers, which for me was a real tragedy because more than losing the job, I lost 100 friends that day. And I was
Wow.
very distraught about what I was going to do. And my husband said, you love children. children become a teacher. So I went to go to ESL, my second master's, and I teach darling little children, mostly Asian, uh, how to fit, I would say fit in, but how to themselves. And it's been a rough fest. But the book is important because a lot of young people come out of college during the pandemic and they are just at a loss. And very much like Dr. Hull, my mother was a copywriter. My father was an educator in New York. He should have been a principal. He was brilliant. He taught me lesson plans at 5 years old. But my mother always said, don't give up. So I went from communicating with managers to communicating with students. And one of my students in one of my ESL programs when I was an adjunct went back to China and she opened up a law firm.
Oh, wonderful.
So now, what's important to me is that these young people, I mean, I'm young at heart. I'm young at heart, I always will be, but young people are coming out with the pandemic, with what's going on overseas, with the money not coming to this country, unfortunately, because there's so many things going on. It's very difficult for them. So rather than staying in a company, a lot of them are going on their own, on a wing and a prayer. We all did it. If we had to do it now, I don't know if I could, quite frankly. But because you need a lot of stamina. I have emotional stamina, physical right now. I could do better. But what is important to me is that they be able to articulate.
Yes.
And concisely. And that is what this book does.
You're right, Rose. Thank you. And that's so important because, you said you teach ESL as English as a second language, and it's very important for individuals to understand and to be able to communicate. And not only, even just, even whether you speak English or otherwise, it's just important that you're able to communicate effectively. So that's definitely something that's important for, I think everyone can take advantage of the book. And I wanted to just ask because Dr. Hall, your book is what does the title of your book mean? Because your title of your book is White Picket Fence. Did I get that right?
Yes, it is called A White Picket Fence, Lessons to Learn on the Road to Success. Okay.
How did you come up with that title?
As you know, I said I was not born, but I grew up in Byville, New Jersey, which is a part of Berrytown, a part of Port Norris, which has a lot of small towns in it. And I had to walk a mile each day, mile to a mile and a half to school.
Wow.
And we lived right near the water. And when I would, it was mostly a Black community. And when I would walk to school, I used to always pass by these nice homes with white picket fences around them.
Wow.
And I said to myself, why shouldn't a little Black skinny boy be able to one day own a home like that? And so when I wrote this book, that's what came across my mind, because I did end up with a home like that. Wonderful. With a swimming pool and all the things that you need. But it took that drive. Renee, I just want to take 2 minutes. I wrote a love letter to my grandchildren. That's what this book comes from.
Okay.
I'd like to take 2 minutes to read this love letter to my grandchildren. Some of them are online now.
Okay.
And other people that have grandchildren. It says, a love letter from Pop Sam, February 9th, 2022. Dear grandchildren, back in the day when I was your age and younger, I grew up without the convenience that you have today. I think the most significant thing that was different was that I did not have indoor plumbing, an indoor toilet, or bathroom until I was 21 years old and married, living on my own. We only had an outhouse, which is sometimes something like a porta pot, only worse. Guess who had to clean it? You guess, it's me. Some of my earliest memories involve taking care of the family outhouse. All through high school, I had to get water from a community pump that had to be primed every day to get it started, then pumped and carried in buckets to our house. We did not have a television, refrigerator, or stove until I was in third grade. I did not have a dishwasher, washing machine, or dryer until I was grown and living on my own. What I'm saying to you is yes, life can be hard and you may not have everything that you want, but things could be worse. Also, if you work hard and keep your eye on the prize, you will get there. I grew up not knowing any other life other than the hard life I was faced as a child, but thankfully I can look back on those days as humble beginnings rather than present present day struggles. I grew beyond the life I was born and have been able to see the fruits of my labor in life. I was able to give to your parents. Each generation is supposed to get better than the one before. I expect no difference for you. I learned to want more out of life. I was happy and had fun every day playing with my friends. But as I grew older, I learned the importance of striving for more. I did right by people and did my best. This allowed me to become the husband, father, and grandfather I am today, the man I can be proud of, and I hope you are too. Of course, it's important to work hard, but it's also important to enjoy life in the moment. Having fun where you are is a big part of determining where you're going. When I was growing up, we did not have computers, iPads, cell phones, Xboxes to use for our entertainment. Instead, we mostly played games outdoors. Some of these games are listed below: jump rope, marbles, jacks, hopscotch, spin the bottle, one, two, three red lights, hide and go seek. Although you have the power of technology at your fingertips, don't lose the element of outdoor play, games, and just enjoying nature. Enjoy your life and continue to be the best that you can. I will always be proud of you no matter what direction you go in life, as long as it's honorable and you have done your best. This book is a walk through my early life, and the lessons I learned are being dedicated to you. Passing these lessons on to you are the legacy I chose to leave for you, your children, your grandchildren. While we all must live our own lives and make our own mistakes, getting a few pointers and tips along the way can hurt. May God continue to bless you always. Love and the best wishes to all. Pop Pop Sam. I just thought that was important, for
Yes,
children, anyone else, no matter, never ever stop trying.
absolutely. And it's oh, I'm going to share this. Someone says, "Thank you, Pop Up. We love you." I guess that's from that's from a daughter.
Yeah,
Yes. So
yeah.
thank you, Andy,
My
for
bad.
stopping and saying hi to Pop Up. We appreciate
Yeah,
you. And um, Dr. Hull has become one of my Pop Ups too. He's a very
yeah,
good man. So I appreciate
yeah.
the friendship. So thank you, Dr. Hull, for being a part of the program.
You're quite welcome.
Um, and your story is um so similar to the stories that I've heard from my mother, because it's she had a similar upbringing, you
Right,
know um the outhouse, walk the we always laugh, walking a mile to school in the snow uphill
right,
type of thing,
right, right.
but it
Exactly.
did happen.
It did happen. That's right. It did happen.
We sometimes we laugh about it, but it did happen. And
Right.
even though I didn't experience all of what you mentioned in the fullness. I remember going to visit my grandmother in the country, and they didn't. She didn't have electricity. It was like a one room type of situation, and it was an outhouse. Um,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's a funny story because my grandmother had 9 children, and my dad
Okay.
was one of 9.
Right.
And they lived in the country, but my dad was sickly, and so my his aunt, my grand aunt, who only had one child at the time, he went to live with her because my grandmother was like, look, I have 9 children, I can't take care of a sick child, I have 8 others to look
Right.
after. So
Exactly.
he went to live with her, but she was the richer aunt, if you will. So she
Yes.
had
Yes.
indoor plumbing, they had a car, they had
Oh,
a
yes.
kitchen inside. It was
Right.
she was rich.
Yes, right.
She
Exactly.
still had the outhouse, but because
Right.
of that, we stayed with her as opposed to my grandmother because that's who my dad was raised with. So
Okay.
I didn't get to experience all of what you mentioned, but we did have we did see it at in the country parts. So yes,
Right.
I can
Let me
relate to that,
just
some
let
parts
me
of it.
just say to Layla, Jordan, Alexis, Elise, Allison, Xander, 2 of you, Carly, and Robbie. This is to you, even though I have some more. Can't remember all the names, but these are some of my grandchildren.
Okay, and we have one here says thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.
Yes. Okay.
And we're going back because Joan has her book says the right rules, and we want to get a you know Dr. Hull just told us about his story and his book title and how he came about his title, and we want to know how you came up with your book, The Right Rules. What um
It's interesting that you should talk about, struggling because I'm Jewish and my grandmother came to this country to escape the mean czar a long, long time ago. And when she did, as you may or may not know, even if you weren't a Holocaust survivor, if you were Jewish, there was a long waiting period for Jewish people to get into the States. And when she did come, she had to live in a cold water flat on the Lower East Side. So many of the things that Dr. Hall is talking about, not having electricity and really having to struggle, she went through because they gave a lot of Jewish people a very hard time. Now, my grandmother had 11 children, and my
oh wow.
mother was a twin. Her twin died at birth because in those days, I'm a change of life baby. And in those days, as you may or may not know, a lot of them were midwives. So my mother was very lucky to be there. And my grandmother learned English very well. She could have been president, but she was very into her family. And she always used to say to my mother, don't take the first thing that comes to mind. Always pick something that sounds right. And my mother, who was a Brooklyn College graduate, I'm very proud of that, she used to say to me all the time, don't take the first phrasing. Massage, rework. So when I was thinking of the right rules, I thought of my mother, who I wish was here right now because she was a copywriter with Montgomery Ward. She was an English major, and she was absolutely brilliant. My grandmother spoke Russian, Polish, German, and Yiddish. It's the same. But in those days, women, I mean, even today, women have to fight for every inch of space. It saddens me, but it's still the way the world is. But
Yes.
our rules came from my grandmother and my mother, who both said, my grandmother used to say, she died when I was little, but she used to say to me, I had to fight, I had to work very hard to prove my worth. My mother had to work very hard as a copywriter because in those days they were all given out to men. A lot of them were. So
Okay.
when I think of right, I also think I tell my children, make a better decision and do the right thing. Because even in a homogeneous society like Japan, there was sibling rivalry where one child will know more than the other, and one child maybe will want to shine and not help the other. So my advice has always been to make a better decision. And I also do that in my book, Go For It Leadership Handbook. It's an Audible book. And that book has inspired many high school students, ironically, overseas, to
Okay.
reach for leadership roles. So that's the origins of where I came from. But very much like Dr. Hull, when I grew up, it was a big struggle. My father was a teacher with the Board of Education. He was teaching trade and shop and upholstery, and we had to struggle. There were nights where we were wondering, when he would come home. There were many nights when we could barely make it because my mother was taking care of me. My grandmother got very sick, so she really couldn't do a lot of work. So it was difficult. So Jewish people have their trials and tribulations too.
Yeah. It's just it's funny how history repeats itself, because you it's different. It may not be the same groups of people who are experiencing whether it's poverty or oppression, or but at some point in history you kind of circle back and there's one group or one particular group of people who are experiencing something similar. Just look at the world around us now and you can see that you have a group of people who are experiencing some kind of suffering. And you talk about no bathrooms, no, the struggles, and making decisions for your family, making things better for them. And I think in every generation we try to do that. Or my parents, their parents, your grandparents, everybody tries to make it better for the next generation, so that it's a little easier. You can do more, you can achieve more. And there's some things that they never had when they were growing up, and they try to give that to you. So we just have to, it's important for us as individuals, whether as parents or educators, to pass that on to the next generation. Because sometimes they may not even hear it at home, but when they meet, Dr. Hall, you mentioned the teacher who just kept praising you that one day, and it turned your whole life around. The whole trajectory of your life changed because of just that one interaction with the teacher. So, we have to be mindful of um, presenting that, being that person, that light in the dark, if you will, that continues to share and to bring hope to other, the next generation, or to just, even if it's one person, that's one person that you have changed, because she may have changed you, Dr. Hull, but you have changed so many other lives, and your story will continue just for it. And even with you as well, Joan, your grandmother set the tone when she came here, and then your mother, and now you are now working with all these individuals. And as you mentioned, that one student that you work with, she went back to Japan and started a law firm. So we are planting the seeds, and they're sprouting in different parts of the world. So kudos to both of you for the work that you're doing in your own parts of the world. So thank you for that. And I wanted to, I think we kind of touched on it a little bit, but who is your audience? Who is the audience for your book? Who is this book for?
This book,
The audience for my book would be small business owners, those that have graduated, say that you're working for a company as a tradesperson, and you really, really love your trade, want to go out on your own. So that's my audience. Also, you're coming here from another country, and you're in middle management, but you need to refine your accent, because when you're in Korea, or you're in South America, or you're in Italy, you're with your contemporaries, you're in your milieu. When you come to the States, it's a whole different environment, and you need to refine, and you need to be able to speak in front of an audience. I have taught in South Africa. I taught in 22 townships in South Africa,
Oh, wow.
and it was incredible. I taught in Vietnam in French and in English. I taught in Seoul, I taught in Hong Kong, I taught in Japan. As a matter of fact, in Vietnam, the whole village came because an American lady was coming to speak. Oh my God, I felt like a queen. It was so wonderful. But it's a different environment. The teaching system there is different. It's much more rigid. The way teachers are regarded, it's not the same as here. I think in many instances, my students appreciate me because I go the extra mile. In South Africa, a lot of these people, they rolled up their rugs and they turned their living room into a classroom. And at night, they went back to do their accommodating needs, which I thought was magnificent. They don't have that situation here. Here, you want to have a meeting, I can ask my principal, can I, after school, can I do something? It isn't always that way, so it's learning to present clearly, concisely, and getting your message across. And what I found, because I speak French, because I speak Spanish, because I speak German, it's easier for me than it is for a lot of other Americans when I go overseas. I did that because that's the way I was brought up. I was brought up that you're gracious. Not everyone can do that. So when people come over here, they're a little taken back because, they assume, especially in parts of South America, everyone has a different inflection, everyone has a different tonation. So it's just getting to the point where you can feel comfortable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Hull?
Yes. My book, A White Picket Fence, is geared toward middle school and high school children. I want to try to inspire them to do better with their life, to never give up. So that's what this book is for. But Renee, as you know, my love is Black history.
Yes.
And if you remember, when I attended your expo in
Yes.
2019, this book won the nonfiction
Yes.
award.
Yes.
Okay? So I've written 7 books on African American history, and that's my goal in life, is to promote the study of African American history 365 days a year.
Yes.
Okay.
And the book, your the white picket fence, but I have to say, you have your Black history books are so in depth. The information there, I know we're not talking about that, we're talking about the white picket fence, but I
Mhm.
just you just brought it up, and I just have to say those books are amazing. I gave one of the books to an educator in the school system, in the middle school, and it is such a resource for her to, when they're talking to the children. It's not just around Black History Month, but it
Right.
really is an opportunity to share information with children, just to give them information about um, uh, amazing African American individuals who have done great things in here and abroad. So I just want
Certainly.
to say that, and both books. You, Joan, you mentioned your book is for like business owners or people who are starting out with businesses, and Dr. Hall, you mentioned your book is for middle grade and high school, because
Right.
a lot of the times we find that there's we have to get to that place where we get people reading again, because a lot of the information that comes through is you get it on the phone and you get it in a sound bite, 30
Right.
seconds or less, or 2 minutes, whatever you can do on TikTok or Instagram or a reel or
Mhm.
something. And we need to get our population reading again, getting our children reading, getting our young people, even adults reading, because a lot of us, you're on the phone and it's just those little sound bites, and that's not all the information that there is. That's just you know 30 seconds of you know something just thrown at you, and people, you'd be I'm sure but people they run with that little bit of information, and they create their own
Mhm.
story
Yeah.
to it. So it's good that you have your books here to really share the real deal about what it is, and what's happening, and how you can inspire other people. um and I want to ask you, what was the hardest part about writing your book?
The hardest part, I guess, was editing, editing, and rewriting,
Mm.
editing, and
Editing.
rewriting.
Okay.
That's probably because you want to make sure that everything is accurate, and of course the research. I mean, but I don't mind researching. I've done it all my life.
Right.
But when it comes to, you can go through the book, I don't know how many times, and something's off. And my books are set up so that if one thing changes, it throws a whole book off because the pages, coincide with other pages and so forth. So if I'm off one page or a few words and I change it, it can throw the whole book. So it's a lot of editing and rewriting.
Okay.
And spend on those books. So that for me, that's
The,
probably the hardest
the
part.
edit.
Not the research.
Okay, the editing and the rewriting. What about you,
Yeah.
Joan?
I've been writing my first paycheck came when I was 9 for a sunflower contest. And my sunflower in Raleigh, New Jersey, where I lived, won the prize. And they came from the local newspaper. And they also asked me to write a paragraph. So my professional career as a writer started at 9. And I used to have little tutoring sessions for my classmates that had trouble in the basement of our home. So for me, the hardest part of writing is not writing. This book would have been, if I hadn't had limitations imposed on me, the book would have been probably 100 pages because I teach corporate communications. I teach how to do
Okay.
different types of writing. And now I'm excited. Well, I don't know if we'll get to that or not, but I am embarking on a new genre. I have just completed my first in a series of historical fiction that deals with the Holocaust. So for me, accuracy and clarity and tone are very important because of the sensitive nature of the topic that I'm dealing with. And it's very hard. The right rules
Okay.
came from my heart because it was something that I did in corporate. But in any book that I do, the hardest part is not writing. Because when I'm not writing, I'm not happy.
Yeah. Okay. So
Renee, if I can say one thing, with the editing and rewriting, I have two of the best editors going. My daughter, Dr. Angie Gray,
yeah.
and my wife, Sylvia. They're two of the best editors. All of my books, they've done the editing for me.
Oh, wonderful. I'm gonna put, I know Angie was here.
Right,
She's probably still here, Miss Angie
right,
Gray. So your dad
right.
is giving you a shout out, Angie, and Miss Hall, you're getting a shout out as well. We just want to
Yep,
say thank you. You're doing an excellent job, or you've done an excellent job editing the books. I know the first book that you had when you won the competition, my
right,
mom had that, and she had to get a copy for herself because she really liked the book. She said there's so
right.
much information here, and as you know, my
Mhm.
mom's an educator, so
Yes.
that was very important for her, so she did get one of your books as well. So yes. um and this is so we're talking about your books. And do you work with any writing groups, or do you have a community of writers that you're affiliated with? Wait, hold on. Is that Joan? Yes, go ahead.
The two writers that influenced me, one is Isabel Holland. She wrote The Man Without a Face. It was made into a major motion picture film with Mel Gibson. She was brilliant. She has passed on. And there's another
Oh,
lovely
my
lady,
condolences.
and they were my guiding lights throughout much of my early writing career. And I had, when I was in school, Mrs. Oxman, I'm sure she's gone on to teach in heaven, that they were brilliant. The person who I credit with starting me on the road to writing is my mother. And that started when I learned to read and write at 3 years old. She said I would just create stories and I would flip the pages in a lot of the history magazines, and I would point and we would make little skits. So these are the people that formed and shaped me, and I will be forever grateful. And I envy Dr. Hull only one thing, that he has this wonderful family that can contribute live. I mean, if my mother were here
Yeah,
now, I once did a video on careers for college graduates when I that's one of my associate's degrees. And my parents were living in Florida at the time. And I came down, and the whole complex, the whole retirement complex was in one little condo. So it was really quite beautiful. So I miss that because I think it's very important that you have the support of loving family and friends.
absolutely, absolutely. And I just want to put this up here because your daughter says thank you, and it's Onyx Expressions Publications.
Yeah,
So we just want to say thank you, and you have the full support of your family here, Dr. Hall. So I really appreciate them coming on and sharing with you this time. Um, and let
absolutely.
us know, do you have affiliated with any writing groups or any community groups that you connect with?
Not necessarily writing community groups, but what I do follow certain people like Jerry Jenkins and you as well, because Renee, every week you send out writing tips. So I'm always reading those and using them when I'm working on books,
Excellent.
to help people be successful, writers. And SCORE, which is an organization, because my writing is a business. My books are a part of a business, and I have the federal ID, everything. So I have
Right.
an actual business. And I belong to several associations, Black associations, which help me. ASALA, which is called the Association for the Study of African American History and Life, which is in Washington, D.C., the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I'm a charter member for that organization in
Oh,
Washington,
wonderful.
D.C. If you haven't been there, you need to go there and learn about African American history. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, I'm also a member of that. Um, so those are my key reading groups, and I do a lot of webinars and studying reading groups, writing groups as well.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing those groups with us that we can, participate with them or, learn more about those organizations, if we want to be a part of it. I'm sure there are people here and, when they rewatch the tape, they'll be able to get that information from those of those organizations. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. So we're wondering about, is there anything, what are you working on now? Because there's always, you write your book and you're promoting, but now it's like, okay, next, what's the next on your agenda?
Well, I'm very excited to say that my first historical fiction is really not fiction. My uncle was a beautiful Jewish medic in World War II, and he left me his memorabilia, 75 of memorabilia. He had his letters from Italy, but he talked all about the experiences he had. And I've taken that and I have written a family saga set in World War II,
Oh,
which is now being reviewed by a publisher.
oh,
So
wonderful.
I'm very
So
interested.
so he wrote letters, so you
He
have
wrote
the letters
letters.
that he wrote.
He wrote letters home. He kept journals. He had a diary. He
Oh,
had pictures.
wonderful.
And he was just brilliant. He was a pharmacist. He had a pharmacy in Brooklyn with his brother, my older uncle. It was a family business. business, and he was a man for all seasons. He was a poet, he was a pharmacist who spoke Italian. But in addition to that, I am working on a middle grade novel about a girl and her grandmother that takes place in the Holocaust. So that is very important to me. And then I also finished book one in a series dealing with Holocaust themes. It's about a righteous Gentile, which I'm sure you've heard of in World War II, that saved the lives of
Okay.
her Jewish factory workers. And I'm doing this because it's to honor and acknowledge the 6 million Jews who perished in World War II.
Yeah.
So I'm observant, and I feel it's important that children with the middle grade know about the Holocaust. And I also feel it's important to spotlight my heritage. But I also feel that people need to be entertained, because part of writing is entertaining. So these books will inform, but they will also entertain. There's suspense, so you won't be bored.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for that. And what are you working on, Dr. Hall?
Right now, this book just came today, and
Oh,
okay, this book, which is published by Onyx Publishing Company, um, Dr. John Gray is the publisher, and my daughter is, of course, the editor of this book. I just got this today. I mean,
wonderful.
about 2 hours before I came on air. Now, if you want a copy of this book, because there's 4 other authors, there's 5 of us all together,
Yes.
uh, and it's a collaboration between us, and it basically talks about trials and tribulations that we've gone through, not the same one as it was in this book, but as I was older.
Oh,
So if you want a signed copy of it, you can't go on the internet anywhere to get it. You would have to contact me, my phone number, or through my email. If you
okay.
do that, then I would, send a signed copy to you. But that's the only way you can get this from me.
And what's
And
the cost of that book, Dr. Hall?
this book is 19.99, but I just rounded up at 20.
Okay.
And then I'm only adding $2 for the shipping and handling. So
Okay.
for 22 dollars you can get this book. But it is very comprehensive in things that we've gone through in life, and just shared by these other people. When I was reading about the other ones as well, it's life steering, and you
Mhm.
don't realize what people have to go through basically as adults.
Yes.
So if you, like I say again, if you'd like a copy, just contact me. You can call me at the number there or on my email to get a
Okay. And
copy.
we're going to give that information out at the end. You'll be able to get the information for Joan and Dr. Hall, their website that you can go and purchase their books online, or you can email them to get copies of their books. Or if you want them to do presentations at your events or your company or whatever it is, they're, great resources that you can use to help to further your business in the case of Joan, or as a student or at a school. Those are great resources and inspirational stories that you can use to move that population along, really understanding what is, or what it is, or what it isn't, if you will.
Right.
um and I want to ask, what advice would you give to an aspiring author?
The advice that was given to me by my mother: don't give up the ship, ever. And by a very well-known author who made me promise not to say who was quoting, but keep at it. I work with, or did, I don't as much anymore because now I'm doing a lot in my novel career, but I work with a lot of autistic kids, and I love them. No matter what country they're from, the children need to learn. And this child, he was in the 3rd grade, and it was very difficult for him to write a sentence, to write a paragraph. And at the end of the week, he wrote a whole page essay. Mind you, on Monday, he said, Mrs. R, because the Spanish you couldn't pronounce. I don't know why I couldn't pronounce Ramirez, but at any rate, he said, I can't do it. It's going to take me forever. Give up on me. Go to somebody else. I don't give up on children. Never give up on children.
Right.
And Friday, I came in every day. We did a sentence. We worked with the dictionary. He did the essay. And then I had another darling little boy who said to me, I'm stupid. Now, to me, that's the bad word that you don't use in school.
Yes.
I said, you apply yourself. And his essay was so good. This was a child that I work with in Upper Manhattan. We put it on the board, and it won a prize.
Wonderful. Never give up.
No, this is what you do. My mother said that. Because you can't give up on yourself. And then I tell them about me and how I was a bookworm when I was a little girl because I used to love to read. I wasn't active in a lot of the activities in school for a lot of reasons. Some of them physical. I had a back issue. And sometimes they would say that I was a worm that crawled into a book. And years later, I've had these kids since kindergarten. I went back to teach. I'm going back tomorrow. But each time I go to a different school. And I had a 7th grader. And she said to me, when someone gets me upset, I tell them what Mrs. R said about the book and the worm. And immediately, we both go to the library and we read.
Wonderful, wonderful, excellent, excellent. Dr. Hall, what advice would you give to an aspiring author?
Some key things are set aside time every day to work on your book and stick to it. Get someone to edit your book, as I've done. You usually can't find all of your mistakes. I found that at
True.
omission, spelling errors, you just can't find them.
Yes.
Research your craft. Attend writing webinars provided by other writers and follow other writers. I have, and the last thing that is to read. I have
Yes.
over 1,000 books in my library. And some of the people that I love, for instance, is Martin Luther King, John Meacham. You may not know some of these names. Jack Ford, Zora Neale Hurston.
I know Zora. I actually met her.
Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, Michelle Obama with Coming.
Yeah.
Um,
There are so many
yeah,
new authors coming out, and even some of the old ones.
right. Some people like Carter G. Woodson and Barack Obama. I've read all these books. Promised Land, Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow. You don't realize what's happening in America right now, and people that get out of jail and so forth can't find jobs, and it's just like the Jim Crow from before. And Robin DiAngelo, let me just mention her book for a second. This book explores the counterproductive reaction people have when their assumptions about race are challenged and how these reactions maintain racial inequality. These are some of the things that we're dealing with. I mean, I can go on with some of these authors and what they've done when I've read. I mean, I read extensively. Sometimes I read 3 books at a time, and I read them and I try to correlate the different things between the books.
Right.
I enjoy reading. Let me mention too that my daughter, Dr. Angie Gray, is a writing coach. So if anyone needs help in writing, then contact me, and I'll get in contact with her. I'll give them the information, and they can contact her. But she's an actual writing coach, and there's
excellent.
no better. I mean, when she finishes with you, you don't have to worry about your book whether it's going to be right or not. Not
Okay.
only that
And
she the writing coach, but she edits your book,
wonderful.
and then her
So,
husband.
Dr. Angie, I'm going to cut you 1 second,
Yeah,
Dr. Hull. Dr. Angie, if you're still on, can you drop your information in the comments? Put
yeah,
your website, your email, so that if anybody once they come back, they can still see the comments and get your information. So if you'd be so kind as to drop your information in the comments, that would be awesome.
okay,
Yes. Yes, here at IABX, what our mission is to support the author. And if
yes,
we have individuals who can do that, a writing coach, an editor, people are always looking for, writers are always looking for someone to edit their book, someone to coach
right,
them. I do
right,
book coaching as well. But you always need that person to guide you, especially if you're a first time author. And even if you're not, there's always something. I learn something new every single day. Every time, I get into a space, I'm always researching, I'm always looking up, because I always want to get better at my craft. And as Dr. Hull said, you do your research, you read. There's always that, you can always get so much more from reading other books or reading other genres, just the way people express themselves in their books. So, make sure that you do, just do your research, do some reading. It'll be a world of good for you. You cannot lose for reading. I'm a
and,
bookworm, so
and make sure that they join your organization, because your
yes,
organization is so much help. You need to go, and I'm sure you're going to put the information on the
yes.
website and so forth. I belong to it, and you need to join in. I mean, they have so many activities and so forth, so many authors that get together on, I think it's August 6th,
August 6th. Yes.
August 6th. Unfortunately, because of my condition and so forth, I'm not going to be able to attend this year, but I sure support you
Yes.
every
Yes.
year,
And
every year.
I have to, and here's Dr. Gray's information, Dr. Angie Gray at gmail.com. So if you need any writing coaches services, please reach out to Dr. Gray. She's, this is Dr. Hull's daughter, but I know that she's coming from good stock.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Gray, drangieGray.com, Onyx Expression. So thank you. And we're here to support you. We're here to support you. I'm gonna hire Dr. Hull to be my marketing manager. He's gonna promote me far and
Okay.
wide. Ever since I met Dr. Hull, he's just been a great person. So thank you, Dr. Hull, for your
You're
continued
quite
support of our
welcome.
organization. And this is just what it is. We make friends. Our authors become our friends, and we support you whatever way we can. So we definitely
Absolutely.
want to say, thank you. And before we wrap up, I just want to, and this is just something I like to ask at the end. So is it, do you use pen and paper or do you use the computer?
I do both.
Do both?
I gather my thoughts. I can't gather my thoughts on the computer. It's like talking
Yeah.
to a wall that wall doesn't answer. I write out my, especially with history, it's so rich. And
Yes.
I enjoy it so much. So I write it out, I read it out loud, and then I type it, and then I make a copy of the whole book, which is what I'm doing now with my
Yeah.
historical suspense. And I talk to my characters. It's a lot of work,
Right.
but it's
Yes.
the only way I know to do it, because when I type longhand, and then when I type it into the computer, and I read it back, I hear the inconsistencies. I hear the flow of the words.
Right.
Like, this is the way I teach my students, especially in the higher grades, because they say to them, don't be so quick to write it, it's due. Okay, it's done, goodbye, I'm going to go talk to you.
Yeah.
You have to hear what your words have to say. Put it away. I put the book away for 2 months. And then I take it out. And it's like talking
Yeah.
to a friend who I may disagree or agree with. You don't always agree with everything that your friend says. But you have to hear the sound of the words. So that's the way I do it.
Absolutely. What about you, Dr. Hall?
Uh, pen and paper first. I'll write everything out, maybe a chapter at a time. Then I'll type it on the computer. That's something I learned in high school because in my computer class, I was the only boy in the class, but I
Ah,
learned how to type, the
okay.
regular way. And
Yes,
but I like paper first, and then I can put it on the computer, or I can edit. See, I can
yes.
edit better on the computer.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm the same. I like pen and paper. I start with pen and paper first, and then I go to the computer because then on my in my notebook I have all these arrows going all over the place. But when I get
right,
it into
right,
the computer, now I can
right,
cut and paste and move things around more easily. So pen
right.
and paper for me. I have tons and tons of notebooks, and then
I do too.
then I go to my computer. So we want to know I just want to show here a little kudos to Dr. Hull. He has some supporters here, so we just want to bring them on and let's let them know that um, so many people have claimed you as Pop and Dad, so we just want to put that out there.
Thank you.
So we want to know where you are, where the people can find you. So if you would like to let us know, Joan, where they can find you.
Yes, you can go to either www.jlreganenterprises.com or joan@jonesbookshelf.com, or I'll give you another email, writer, WRITERJR1044 at gmail.com. And my books can be purchased on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. You just have to type in The Right Rules by Joan Ramirez.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And
And
Dr.
yep,
Hall, can you let them know where they can find your books?
Right, absolutely. It's if you go to Dr. Cadmus S. Hull, Hull. So like you see there, just without the period and an S, it's two S's in it.
Yes.
.com. I'm also available on Amazon as well, or you could call me at 856-728-4081. That's my business phone.
And you tell them about your social media. Do you have social media platforms?
Yes, my social media platform. Um, Let me just take a second so I can get it accurate for you. Facebook is www. Of course, facebook.com/ Cadmus Hull, Hull. Twitter, it's of course twitter.com/S_Cadmus.
So Twitter, I'm trying to just put these out there. I'm a little slow on the draw. Twitter
That's
is
fine.
Hull underscore. No, you said S_Cadmus.
Yes, it would be S_Cadmus.
Okay, so Twitter.
So
Um,
it'd be Cadmus S Hall at S_Cadmus.
Okay, I think I have it, but if not, you can always visit Dr. Hall's website and connect
Right.
with him there on their contact us page. And also with Joan, you can also get to Joan at her JLREG Enterprises. So that's jlregenterprises.com. Okay. So you can get to each of our authors here. They have amazing books. Go out and support them, get their books. And again, remember, if you need to connect with them for them to do presentations, workshops, webinars, they're available. They're great resources. We're so glad to have them here. And they just we're just thankful that we have this platform that we can share with you all. And we have a awesome job, Joan and Cadmus.
Thank you.
And we have another one I just want to put up. Thank you, Dr. Gray. So we're just excited to have you and be able to do this for our authors. It's just this is just what we do here at IABX. We really support the author, and we have, as I mentioned to you before, we have our book expo coming up in August. If you're an author, or even if you're Dr. Gray, please, you can come as well and be a part of the programming. You'll be able
Yes.
to meet other authors, because we want to make sure that they have access to good writing coaches or good editors. So you can definitely come on down and check with us and see who, meet with some of our authors there. Thank you again, authors, for being a part of our show, and you enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Enjoy the
Thank
rest
you
of
so
your
much.
week, and we will talk soon. And make sure when you have your next book that you come back to visit with us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll have the programming and the broadcast available so you can share with your family and friends.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
you take care and be well.
You too.
Okay. Same to you.
Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to, before I keep forgetting to do this. To sign up for other programming, go to iabx.org. That's www.iabx.org if you would like to be a part of the Author Speaks, or you'd like to register to be a part of our book expo in August. Okay, now we can go.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everyone.
Bye.
Be well.
You
Healthy.
too.
Same to you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.